All right, it's now 7 o'clock on this Tuesday evening. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott here. We've got a tornado warning just being issued now for portions of Marion County and Winston County. This is in northwest Alabama. In fact, this is right over the city of Hackleburg. If you're in Hackleburg, you need to take cover now as we have the possibility of a tornado that could be down coming into Hackleburg. Next up is Haleyville and then Double Springs. So again, if you are in Hackleburg, be in shelter now. Out of a mobile home, find a site-built structure or a storm shelter. And if you are in Haleyville, shelter now. Out of a mobile home, site-built structure. If you're in a car, get out of that immediately. I want to remind you that we also broadcast nonstop online on WVUA23.com. If you click the Watch Now option, and we will be on Facebook Live as well. And Master Control, if you can confirm that when we get on Facebook Live, that we will be on the WVUA 23 Facebook page, and we are on there. So just want to remind you, in case you lose power, that we broadcast nonstop on Facebook Live, so you can get our information at multiple sources there. But again, if you're in Haleyville or Double Springs, you certainly need to be in a safe place. This is a supercell type of storm you see is moving southeast at about 40 miles per hour. There's Highway 13 there, 129, and Highway 33. This is going to cross right over Haleyville in the next 5 to 10 minutes, so you need to be in a safe place. Again, if you are in the Haleyville area. This storm is tracking off towards the southeast or east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour. Let me check here some information from the National Weather Service. And so far from the storm, we haven't had many reports at all. In fact, the National Weather Service is going to continue this tornado warning until 7:45 from Marion and Winston. And this is a radar indicated tornado. This is not a confirmed tornado. This is radar indicated, but the possibility is there for this thing to be down. Let me tell you what, let me put the velocity on. I want to show you that. And this is where a possible tornado is now, just east of Hackleburg. If you're in Bear Creek or Goddard, you need to be at a safe place now. The potential for a tornado is there. Now east of Hackleburg. Looks like it's east of Hackleburg, moving east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour. So again, what you're looking at is the velocity. This is the wind. Inside of this thing, you've got an area rotation here. That's Franklin County. This is the Franklin-Marion County line. And you see it's already crossed Highway 172. There's Hackleburg. There's Bear Creek, Lumbo right there. Lumbo, right? Also, we got Haleyville, Donaldson's Mill. You're going to be in the direct path of this possible tornado. So if you're a Lumbo, you need to be in a safe place now. That's Highway 241 there, Highway 13. This is going to come right over Bear Creek. So out of a mobile home, site-built structure, or storm shelter. We had a tornado earlier in Colbert County. That's in northwest Alabama. Confirmed violent tornado with that. Did a lot of damage in East Mississippi and Tishomingo, Mississippi, and then portion of Colbert County, Alabama. So storms today have had a history of producing tornadoes, so we need to take these serious. While we're not seeing a screaming indication of a violent type of tornado, it doesn't really matter if it's an EF0, EF1 that can still be a threat to life and property. Again, if you're in Hackleburg, I can tell you now with confidence the tornado risk has moved east of town. Again, there's your rotation. There's Bear Creek, Haleyville, Southside Haleyville, and you keep going off towards the east into Winston County. But I can tell you now with confidence, if you're in Hackleburg, I think the tornado risk has passed just east of your city. So again, Hackleburg, it's now just to the east of town, not far, but we are certainly concerned about that. I'll put on the velocity or radar reflectivity, show you the loop here. That's the particular storm we're looking at for that possibility for a tornado. And you can see how the storm has really had that impressive characteristics of a supercell type of storm. The National Weather Service concerned with this as well as we are, so they went ahead and issued that tornado warning. But if you're in Double Springs, go ahead and get to your safe place now. And especially in Haleyville or Bear Creek. That is in northwest Winston County and northeast Marion County. Let's see, the National Weather Service also going to continue the severe thunderstorm warning for that particular storm and a tornado warning. So there's two different warnings for that. The severe thunderstorm warning is for the possibility of 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. And then we have that possibility of a tornado that could be there as well. So let me put on the track on this. Again, this is moving off towards the east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour. We'll do a track. Again, it's now east of Hackleburg, moving in that direction there at about 40 miles per hour. This got Bear Creek at 7:08, so in the next several minutes, Bear Creek, Haydenville about 7:15. Now understand these are arrival time estimates. It could be there a little before that or a little bit after that, so we want you in a safe place before that time's up. Haydenville, Pebble, Ashridge, that's at 7:28. Double Springs at around 7:36, Moreland at 7:42. If that continues off towards east, eventually Addison will be in the path of that. Looks like it will stay mainly north of Smith Lake, but again, this is going to come over the Bankhead National Forest as well. I do want to mention that, but if you're in Haydenville, you need to be in a shelter immediately. Let me clear this information off. Let's take you into Haydenville area. And this is where we're talking about. I'll tell you what, I put on the velocity. Let's look at this together. Again, strong indications of a tornado coming towards Haydenville. This is now east of Hackleburg. It's coming right over Goddard. Bear Creek, you need to be in a safe place, but especially in Haydenville, as we have the possibility of a tornado that could be down with that. Look at the debris signature. I do not see any screaming evidence of a tornado off the debris signature, but that does not mean there's not one there. But we're going to watch that carefully. Let me show you the warning. Here's your tornado warning polygon. Again, it includes Bear Creek, Haydenville. We've also got Ashridge in that, Pebble. You're under the gun. That's going to basically ride along Highway 195 from Bear Creek to Haydenville. I'll zoom in a little bit towards the Haydenville area. Again, you're in the direct path of this possible tornado. This is, again, radar indicated tornado. This is not confirmed, but this is radar indicated tornado. So there could be one with that. So you need to be in a safe place now for the potential for a tornado that could be moving towards Bear Creek and Haydenville. In fact, it's right on top of Bear Creek now as we speak, so that possibility is certainly there. Let me show you a wide view for a moment, just kind of reset things and show you everybody out there. This is from Birmingham. From the radar site just south of Birmingham in Shelby County. And you see we got some showers and some thunderstorms over west Tuscaloosa County. Also we got Pickens and northern Sumter. These are not severe. Our severe weathers are extreme northwest counties of a northwest Alabama. And these are, again, moving off towards the east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour. For that possibility, there could be some severe weather with that. So again, we still got a dangerous situation for possibility of a tornado that could be there. That's going to be coming up on the Haydenville area, moving off towards the east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour. So Bear Creek, safe place now. Haydenville, safe place right now. One encouraging thing is I do not see any confirmation of a tornado there. That's good. Hopefully that trend will continue. I'll put on the Columbus radar. Let's show you that. Also do want to mention just to the west of Hamilton, got another little small supercell looking storm. This is a kind of mini supercell that's coming into western Marion County. That is not severe at the moment. The one storm that is severe is this one that's come out of the Hackleburg areas on top of Bear Creek. We certainly have that possibility of a tornado that could be there with that storm. And I'm just kind of looking at information behind the scenes here. And again, so far, no reports or confirmation of a tornado there. But that does not mean there's not one down. There could easily be one touchdown, but this thing is right on top of Bear Creek now. And again, the National Weather Service also issuing a significant weather advisory for that other storm we're just talking about coming into northern Lamar, southern Marion County as well. So we have a tornado warning that continues for extreme northeast Marion County and much of central and northwest Winston County for the possibility of a tornado that could be there. I'll tell you what, let's put on the velocity display. I want to show you that. Looks like our velocity product is kind of kicked up here for the possibility of a tornado. Again, this is going to be approaching Haydenville. Right now, the rotation is right on top of the Goddard area, and that is moving east-southeast. So this is what we're looking at, the possibility of a tornado right on top of the Goddard area, just on the south side of Bear Creek. And there is Haydenville. This is the Winston-Marion County line right here. We got Delmar. I think this is going to stay just north of Delmar. That's Highway 13 that runs into Haydenville, and it kicks back to Bear Creek in Marion County. So again, we got Haydenville, Bear Creek. There's the center area. Ashridge is off towards the east. Eventually, this is going to cross 195 in Ashridge. You're going to be under the gun with that as well. There's your rotation. That's where your winds are blowing in a circular direction. We got winds that are outbound there, winds that are inbound there near Goddard. And again, you put 2 and 2 together, this is what you call a couplet. This is your rotation, your area rotation, where we have that possibility of a tornado that could be there. But again, if you are in Haleyville, shelter now, lowest floor of your home. If you are in a multi-structured house, bottom floor, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as you can, and we'll get you through that. And I do want to remind you, if you lose power, and that is a possibility, obviously, with the tornadic thunderstorm, that you can join us on Facebook Live on WVUA 23. If you search the Facebook page, also on our website, WVUA23.com, click the Watch Now option. So just multiple ways you can get us. Also, you may lose your television signal. If you have satellite, you could get rain fade, and there's nothing more frightening than knowing there's a tornado nearby and you lose our signal and you can't watch. So again, when you're kind of left in the dark there, just multiple ways you can reach us on there to get that information. If you have any reports, or if you are able to safely take a picture or video, at Richard WVUA23's my Twitter link there, also Facebook as well. We'd like to get that, and that helps the warning process, people that are downstream for this possible tornado. Of course, we don't have a confirmation of a tornado down, but it doesn't matter because this is a possibility. There could be one here with this velocity signature. That's our couplet. That's about 3 or 4 minutes from Haleyville. As we speak. It's already crossed Highway 241. Again, if you're in Hackleburg, you're fine now. That tornadic storm is now passed east of Hackleburg and does continue to track off towards the east-southeast at a pretty good pace. If you're just now joining us several minutes after 7 o'clock now, Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott, we've got the possibility of a tornado that is moving out of northeast portions of Marion County, moving into northwest Winston County. We have that possibility of a tornado. This is going to be north of the Natural Bridge area. This is north of that Highway 278 corridor where there could be a tornado there. Also, the National Weather Service mentioning that other storm that's moving into western Marion County. So let's look at that for the moment. Again, I don't see any strong indication of rotation, but if you look at the reflectivity, and you've got a pretty impressive looking storm. It's a small storm. It's got that hook feature on the back side of that. Again, that's moving into western Marion County. That is to the southwest of Hamilton, but a heads up for Hamilton and Fulton Bridge. We'll need to watch that carefully for the possibility of another tornado trying to develop. Again, that's for a thunderstorm that's not classified as severe. Let's look back to the west. I want to show you this. We got additional showers and some thunderstorms ongoing. These are not classified as severe at the moment, but again, they do have that potential to become severe. Back in Mississippi, we still have that chance for perhaps an isolated tornado or two, damaging wind gusts, also the possibility of some hail with that. Also do want to mention that there are no active warnings other than the one storm we have a concern at the moment. There could be additional storms of concern a little later on this evening, so we still continue that risk of severe weather. So keep in mind that we are certainly not out of the woods, as there are other storms that have that possibility to produce severe weather. I want to show you that. This is our map, and again, through midnight, we still have that risk of some severe weather across central Alabama, with that possibility especially across the northwestern half of the state. And we do have a tornado watch, and that's only going to include our far northwest counties for now, but we may see that shifted southward. It looks like the tornado risk is going to quickly decrease as it does move off towards the southeast. These storms move southeast. The wind shear begins to lift out just a bit. And I'll tell you what, Catherine, if we can take the weather iPad just for a moment, I want to show you radar on that. And again, this is what we got. You see this thunderstorm that is moving right on top of Haleyville. We got that hook echo feature for the possibility of a tornado that could be there. Now, this is radar indicated tornado. This is not a confirmation there's one down. Let me put a loop on that and show you what we got. Again, this is moving off towards the south kind of east-southeast direction. It's about 40 miles per hour with this particular storm, and you see the motion of that. It's not as, it doesn't have as classic of a signature as it had just a few moments ago, but I'll say this, it could still pulse back up and produce a tornado, but it doesn't have that distinct characteristic it did about 20 minutes ago. As it moved right over Hackleburg, had that well-pronounced hook echo type of feature. So doesn't mean that threat's over with, but if you're in Haleyville or Double Springs in Addison, I would certainly be in that shelter, in that safe place now. Again, out of a mobile home, find that site-built structure. If you can, find a storm shelter. I know we got the coronavirus fears, and we're dealing with that, but I'll tell you this, if there's a tornado there, I would much more likely have the risk of getting a virus versus killed in a tornado. So I would certainly, I want to respect there is a threat for the virus out there, but I also want to respect the possibility there could be a tornado, which is very much a possibility, and that could be very much fatal. So keep that in mind as well. And we'll go back over to graphics here in just a moment, Catherine, and I do want to show you a couple other things before we do that. What you're looking at is the radar from Columbus. We'll go over to the watch warning map, and let me check this. Again, this is from the National Weather Service. They're mentioning this cell that's coming into western Marion County. Do need to carefully watch that, as that has the potential to produce a tornado as well. Let me show you what we're talking about. Let me go into that storm. Again, this is the one that's just to the west of the Hamilton area. That is tracking kind of an east-southeast direction as well, but it has that hook feature. That's at the very bottom of your screen right there north of Detroit. There's not a tornado warning with that, but if you're in southern Marion County, especially just south of Hamilton, we need to watch that for that possibility. There could be a tornado with that. But again, the tornado warning concern is the hook feature right there on top of Haleyville. And that is moving off towards the east-southeast. It may stay just a hair to the north of Double Springs, but it is a possibility it could impact Double Springs as well. So as the least course regretted, I would be in a safe place. Again, another storm the National Weather Service mentioning is this storm that's in southern Marion County, just south of Bexar. That is just on the north side of Detroit. In fact, let me stop this loop. And we'll just kind of pause this. There's the reflectivity. There's your tornadic storm near Haleyville. There's that other storm of concern we are watching carefully that is just south of Hamilton, southwest of Hamilton. That's moving off towards the east. Let's kind of look into that storm while we've got you on here. And let's just look at this carefully, because this may require another tornado warning for Marion County. And there it is. Look at that feature there. That's certainly a tight signature. You've got your hook echo. This is not a tornado warning for the moment, but that could require tornado warning. So if you're at Fulton Bridge or on the south side of Hamilton, let's watch this carefully. In fact, if I were you, I would go ahead and go to a tornado safe place, even though there's not a tornado warning for that. That is certainly a suspicious looking feature there. Let's look at the velocity and see what we got. Not much indication of rotation at the ground level. Understand the radar beam we're looking at is just across state line, not far to the southwest. So we're sampling winds basically a couple hundred feet off the ground. So there is clearly rotation several thousand feet up, but it hasn't quite made it down to the ground level yet. And that's why the National Weather Service are likely holding off on the tornado warning for now. But understand there may be needed a tornado warning to be issued for that if this rotation does get down to the ground level, and we do indeed have a tornado to develop from that. So watching that carefully. So a heads up for Fulton Bridge, that I-22 corridor, and on the south side of Hamilton. Just out of curiosity, let's look at the debris signature. Can't see anything there. We'll go back over to the reflectivity. And again, certainly a suspicious looking storm. That's a hook echo feature coming up on Highway 19. This in southwest Marion County. All right, let's go up to the northeast to the tornado warning we have. That's for Winston County. Looks like the National Weather Service did trim Marion County out of that tornado warning because of the fact that it is now out of Marion County. There's Hackleburg, there's Bear Creek. We'll still see the polygon there, but it is clearly out of Marion County. There's Haleyville. We got the Pebble area. If you're in Ashridge, you need to be in a safe place now for that possibility. There could be a tornado there. Also, the Grayson and Moreland area, that's Highway 33, that's going to cross that. There's where your possible tornado would be on the south side of Pebble. Let's look at the velocity on this and see what we got. And again, not a strong indication of a tornado there, but it's still some rotation. Now on the east side of Haleyville, I can tell you now, if you are in Haleyville, I can give you an all clear. The possible tornado has now moved east of town. But again, if you're in Ashridge, Moreland, the Grayson area, and even off towards the north, you got Barnett, Chapel down to the southeast, but you got Upshaw there and Addison right there. This will continue moving in that east-southeast direction, so the possibility of a tornado could still be there, but we have not, as of the moment, as of right now, had a confirmation of a tornado. All right, let's look here at the National Weather Service. Yeah, they're going to cancel the tornado warning for Marion, obviously because it's moved out of the county now, but they're going to continue the tornado warning for Winston County till 7:45 or until the rotation fizzles out, if it does indeed do that. Just checking a couple things behind the scenes here too. The other storm back to the west of the southwest of Hamilton certainly needs to be watched. We don't have confirmation there's a tornado there, but it certainly needs to be watched. So it's just on the north side of Detroit. That's going to be moving on the south side of Hamilton. There's no other storms of concern at the moment. It looks like that things are still pretty quiet across most of central Alabama, but we still have that dangerous thunderstorm that could produce a tornado that's in Winston County. This is a totally Winston County storm now with that possibility. So let me take you out to wide view. I want to show everybody out there because I know we got a lot of people watching from other parts of the state. I do want to remind you that we are also streaming on Facebook Live. So if you lose power or if you're going to be traveling on the roads, you can also watch us on that if you are away from your television, just to have multiple sources to get you that information, because I know lots happening out there. Obviously, the news is heavily weighted on what's happening with the coronavirus deal, COVID-19, and we want to focus now on the weather because this is critical for the moment. This is what is very important. If you are in the path of a tornado, you need to do something about it. Obviously, the coronavirus is a big deal. We know that. We respect that. But please respect the possibility there could be life-threatening weather ongoing in our area. So we have got to focus on this for now. When the weather's over with, we can go back to focusing on the coronavirus, COVID-19. So again, we got a dangerous thunderstorm possibly producing a tornado in northern Winston County. But to show everybody out there, we got general showers and some thunderstorms across parts of West Alabama, in portions of Pickens County, Tuscaloosa County. These are not severe. There's no risk of that at the moment becoming severe. We only have one storm that has that possibility to produce a tornado. Well, I'll take that back. Let me say this. The storm near Hamilton, the one on the southwest side of town, it bears watching. It is not classified as tornadic for now, but it bears watching. Still got the tornado warning for Winston County, so let's go back up to that storm and check it out. And I'll tell you what, let me put on the velocity. Let's just kind of look at the rotation with this together, make sure that we don't see any uptick in the rotation. But if you're certainly east of Haleyville, there's our area rotation. It's still pretty broad. It's not exceptional. It's not a strong, violent tornado type of signature, but it doesn't matter. Even if it's an EF0, EF1 type of tornado, we still want you to respect that and do something to go to a safe place, as these storms have had a history of producing tornadoes. Had a violent tornado earlier, went across Tishomingo, Mississippi, and that moved into Colbert County, Alabama. Now, that's north of Hamilton, north of Red Bay, but again, we had a tornado down with that. These things can change fast, but I think after about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, the risk of tornadoes will begin to greatly diminish. Now, we have a tornado watch for northwest Alabama. Technically, areas like Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, there's no watch, there's no warnings. We may see that watch extended further south, but based off of the environment, as the wind shear will be greatly diminishing, the instability will begin to decrease quickly after sunset. We may see that the severe weather in terms of the tornado risk gradually diminish over the next several hours. But we still got a risk now, so let's focus on that. Again, there's your possible tornado east of Haleyville. Let's put on our hazard display, and You see our reflectivity. Let's see if we got anything popping up there. Yeah, we got the TVS right there, the tornado vortex signature indication. Let's look at the information on that. And that is where there's a possibility there could be a tornado with that. Let's see what we got. Again, the tornado impact is a 6.2. Now, understand that scale goes to about a 10. I have seen it above 10, but it seems like most storms are 10 and below, even with a big tornado signature. But that tornado impact 6.2 is troublesome, as that's a high number, and that is a possibility there could be a tornado down. In terms of the hail size, this is interesting. The hailstone size looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch, so slightly less than 1 inch in diameter. So I don't think there's going to be large damaging hail with that, but still there could be some small hail, maybe some dime-sized hail, maybe some nickel-sized hail there, but it looks like the hailstone size at least is slightly smaller with that, but still got the higher tornado impact 6.2. Let's watch that carefully. I'll take that off the screen. Again, there's your possibility of a tornado right there. North of Double Springs. I can tell you with confidence this is going to stay north of downtown Double Springs. But if you are north of Highway 278, if you're a couple of miles north of Double Springs, be in that safe place. Okay, let's not take a chance with that. If you're just a few miles to the north of Double Springs. If you're south of Double Springs with that particular storm, you are okay. There's no worry for you. Let me put on the warning. Let's look at that. There's your tornado warning polygon. And yes, it does include Double Springs. Technically, that tornado warning includes Double Springs, but I can tell you with confidence the tornado is going to be just on the north side of town. So if you are from Highway, let's just say Highway 278, if you are on 278 or south, you're okay with that storm. If you are north of 278, even by a mile or two, up 33 or up 195, take a shelter now, go to a safe place. Out of a mobile home, out of a car, out of a manufactured home, let's not take a chance with that. Put on the velocity, and again, let's look at that together. That's reflectivity. That is the rain portion of that. And again, that's what you're looking at is the possibility there could be, you still got that hook echo feature. See right there on 195, there's still that indication there could be a tornado with that. Now, that could change. Hopefully it does, but we still have that possibility there could be a tornado. So the National Weather Service for now will maintain that tornado warning in the event there could be one there. And I tell you what, we'll look at the lightning out of this, and we're not seeing much lightning. That's one interesting thing. There's not a whole lot of lightning being indicated from our product, our software product, so we're not seeing a tremendous amount of lightning from this storm, but it is still a storm that could produce some lightning. But again, we're not seeing as much as we did earlier. That could be a sign of a weakening trend. Perhaps the updraft is not as strong as it once was, and if that is the case, hopefully this storm will gradually weaken below that tornado threshold, below that severe threshold, and we'll see that warning drop. But again, we can't guarantee that for now. That could certainly change. And I tell you what, I'm going to put on the reflectivity out of Columbus. Let's look at this together. Still got the tornado warning you see right there for basically the northern portion of Winston County. That is about it. Let's see, just checking with the National Weather Service. Okay, they're not planning to extend the tornado warning. They're going to allow it to expire at 7:45, pending it's not out of the tornado warning polygon. There are no, and this is good. This is a good thing. We are not seeing any indication of damage so far. So that is wonderful news to hear. That is great. Hopefully that trend will continue, but we're not seeing any sign of damage at the moment. And I tell you what, let's go back over to the weather iPad. I want to show you this. This is the velocity you're looking at. This is the winds that are inbound, outbound, and we're not seeing as strong evidence of rotation as we were just a little bit earlier. If you remember just about 20 minutes ago, when this thing was coming through the Hackleburg area, it had fairly strong indication of a tornado there, but again, that has since really decreased over the past hour or so, or over the really past 30 minutes to an hour. This thing was really impressive. It's in southern Franklin counties. It came across the state line, but clearly this thing is showing some sign of weakening. And the National Weather Service mentioning they are not planning to extend the tornado warning to Jones Chapel or Addison. Now, the National Weather Service out of Coleman, they operate out of Huntsville, operate Coleman County. So the National Weather Service out of Huntsville may consider a tornado warning for Coleman County. So we'll have to watch that carefully as well. But for the moment, we're not seeing any reports of damage. That is wonderful. Hopefully that trend will continue, but again, the storm still has that possibility to produce a tornado that is to the north of the city of Double Springs. So if you're in Double Springs and point south to think you're okay from this one, there are more storms back to the southwest. We'll need to watch carefully. But again, in terms of the tornado potential, it seems to be just on the north side of Double Springs. Put back on the reflectivity, and we'll look at this together. Again, this storm is not as oppressive as it was. We got some storms that are, again, on the east side of Hamilton now. We got those suspicious features, that kind of hook feature, but in terms of the rotation, we're not seeing much out of that. We'll go down to the south. We got some thunderstorms coming up on Reform. In fact, pretty heavy rain in Reform, but as of now, there are no indications of a tornado with that. Again, I don't see any sign of rotation. We're basically looking at some pretty heavy rainfall and the possibility of some strong gusty winds with that. So that's what we're looking at with that. I do want to mention also that we have a tornado watch that goes until 10 p.m. for our northwest counties. So the National Weather Service mentioning they may expand that south, where they're talking with the Storm Prediction Center now, and may issue a new tornado watch further south. Not 100% guaranteed they will do that, but they are currently in discussion of whether or not to do that. You still see the tornado warning. I'll tell you what, let's go back over, Catherine, to the graphics, and you still see the tornado warning for Winston County. There are a couple of tornado warnings also in effect for northern Alabama, the Tennessee Valley counties. But again, in our coverage area, we have that one tornado warning. We'll go over to our camera from Broad Denny and show you that. We've seen some lightning off in the distance, some of these thunderstorms off to the northwest of Tuscaloosa. Again, here in the Tuscaloosa area, there's no severe weather ongoing, but again, we're watching the storms off to the north of town as well, and not seeing any lightning with that at the moment, but again, we have seen a few strikes of lightning with some of those storms nearby. So let's go back over to radar. Tell you what, let me move this watch warning map. Go back over to radar in just a second. Okay, let's see. The National Weather Service. Okay. There's also, I do want to mention in the Tennessee Valley counties, there's tornado warning for Madison, Marshall, and Morgan counties, if that is important to you over in the Tennessee Valley. That's north of our coverage area. The National Weather Service says they will likely extend the tornado warning into Coleman County. So we could see a tornado warning extended into Coleman County. The National Weather Service is going to allow the tornado warning to continue until 7:45 for Winston County, but it's interesting, the National Weather Service is considering going with the tornado warning for Coleman County. And again, here's the deal. So the National Weather Service out of Birmingham operates all these counties here except for Coleman County. Huntsville National Weather Service issues warnings for Coleman County. We cover Coleman County on TV, and the National Weather Service, their threshold on issuing these tornado warnings are quite different sometimes. The National Weather Service in Birmingham may say there's not much of a tornado threat with that, we're going to allow it to expire. Well, Huntsville may say, you know what, we think there could be still a tornado there, we're going to issue. So you may see a tornado warning issue for Coleman County even if this storm continues to weaken. So again, that's the latest on that, as we do have that potential there. Let me take you back into that storm that has that possibility of producing a tornado that's still in Winston County. In fact, the warning goes until 7:45, so for about 10 more minutes, we'll see that tornado warning continue. But if this storm does indeed continue to weaken, we will see this tornado warning expire. So there's Coleman County. So heads up for Jones Chapel and Crane Hill and Coleman. If this storm shows any sign of strengthening, if the rotation shows any sign of strengthening, the National Weather Service may require a tornado warning for Coleman County. So right now we have a tornado warning for Winston County. This includes areas to the north of Double Springs. It does not include the city now. In fact, you see right there, that's the new tornado warning polygon. And that includes that little tiny square basically on the north side of Double Springs. Let me put on the velocity. Let's just kind of look at this together and see what we got. And again, there's just not much there. There's not much indication of a tornado there. But again, if you're in Addison or Jones Chapel on 278, let's watch it carefully in case this thing were to ramp back up. But at the moment, we're not seeing any sign of that happening. Put back on the reflectivity out of Columbus, and let's see if we can get a good perspective of this thing. There's your, again, your hook echo feature. This thing is still slightly rotating north of Double Springs. It's moving east towards Addison and Jones Chapel. Let's do a track on this and show you where it's going, because it will continue to move. Even if the warning is allowed to expire, the storm itself will continue to move off towards the east. And again, that's moving generally off towards the east at about 40 miles per hour. So let's move this off towards the east at about 40 miles per hour right there. Here's the communities in terms of the arrival time for the possibility of a tornado if this thing does continue or if it ramps back up. Again, we could see this thing fizzle out, but if it does ramp back up, this is what time it's going to be in your area. We got Moreland at 7:37, so basically now we got Addison 7:47, Jones Chapel 7:57, West Point 8:06, downtown Coleman at 8:15. Okay, we got Fairview at 8:27. Okay. Oh, also Simcoe, I forgot that, at 8:23. So those are the community arrival times. Neesmith there, I think I skipped that one, 7:53. So all those times of arrivals, what time this possible tornado would be in your area if it continues. But understand, it may stop here. We may not see this tornado circulation continue any further towards the east. But if I were you, I would pay attention to those times and say, hey, if a new warning's issued, take shelter, do something about it, as that possibility is there. But I have not seen any damage reports. In fact, let's look at that just to be sure. I'm going to clear that off. Let me zoom out. And again, there's your tornadic thunderstorm northeast of Double Springs now on Highway 195. And I do want to mention again, we've got showers and thunderstorms here in the Tuscaloosa area and Northport. Those are not severe. Your severe thunderstorms are in the northern part of the state. Let's look at the reports so far. And again, we had that one tornado touchdown up here to the northeast, but we have not had any reports across our part of central Alabama. That is encouraging to see. Hopefully that trend will continue, but again, that possibility is there. We could see a severe storm in an area with that possibility of damaging winds, perhaps an isolated tornado or two. Sun has set now and instability is beginning to decrease. That doesn't always happen, but in this environment, we do think the instability will decrease some after sunset. Also, the wind shear begins to lift away. The best dynamic support and wind shear is beginning to pull away from Alabama. As that does happen, I think our tornado risk will greatly drop off in the next several hours. So we're not going to see this last all night long. There could be storms still on radar through midnight, but I think in terms of the risk of severe weather, it will greatly diminish quickly after about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Let's go back over to velocity and let's go into that storm that is in Winston County, because we still have that tornado warning in effect. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you into that storm. There it is right there, just northeast of Double Springs. So again, we're not seeing that much indication of rotation. That is a good thing to see. It's north of Barnett Chapel right there. That's Highway 278 that runs to Addison, Jones Chapel, and then the Coleman area. It goes back towards the west to Double Springs. This is north, clearly north of Highway 278. But again, this is really between the community of Grayson and Barnett Chapel. That's where your weak area rotation continues. So if you're in Moreland, New Georgia, Addison, I'd even say Upshaw, let's hang out in our safe place until this threat does diminish. In fact, let me put on the reflectivity. Let's just kind of look at this thing together. And again, it's almost out of the tornado warning polygon. You got 5 more minutes for this tornado warning, and the National Weather Service is mentioning they are going to allow it to expire at 7:45. Okay, and let's see, the National Weather Service is going to extend the tornado watch for Blount, Etowah, and Cherokee, okay, until midnight. And if the threat continues to sag southward, the National Weather Service may add the watch further south, but again, for now, looks like just far northern portion of our coverage area will be in the tornado watch. This is going to be well to the north of Interstate 20. Again, the National Weather Service is going to allow the tornado warning to expire at 7:45, which is in 5 minutes. And by the way, I noticed the clock on the screen there is off by a few minutes. It says 7:37. The official time is 7:40. So again, the tornado warning will be allowed to expire then. Let's see, no word from the National Weather Service in Huntsville if they will issue for Coleman County or not. But again, that is a possibility. We'll go over to our camera in Tuscaloosa. I'll tell you what, let me take this off. That's watch warning map. We're about to see a new watch issued until midnight for Blount, Etowah, and Cherokee. That's basically along that Highway 278 corridor, and that is about to happen. That's going to be until midnight tonight. So here's a look from Tuscaloosa. This is from Bryant-Denny Stadium. It is pouring rain outside. 75 winds out of south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. There's no indication of severe weather here in the Tuscaloosa area, so there's no indication of a tornado here. We'll be watching storms carefully, but it is certainly pouring rain here in the Tuscaloosa area. Also in Northport, raining heavily now, but I do not see any evidence of rotation with any of that. Let's see. Again, the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire shortly for Winston County in about 3 minutes. Just checking information behind the scenes. I do not see any sign of a tornado signature of a tornado, or I don't even see any sign of report so far. There are 0 damage reports coming out of Winston County and Marion County. That is fantastic news to see. So again, what you're looking at is a live look from Bryant-Denny in Tuscaloosa as rain is falling outside, but there is no indication of severe weather, nor is any expected with this. We have the new tornado watch that's about to come out for Blount County, Etowah, and Cherokee. That's going to be along that Highway 278 corridor, and that will be until midnight tonight. And I see the Storm Prediction Center is in the process of issuing that in relation to the National Weather Service in Birmingham. They're going to post that as well. Let me show you future radar and how things could shake out for the rest of the night. You see by 10 o'clock, storms will be basically along Interstate 59. At that point, the risk of anything severe should be greatly diminished as the wind shear will be pulling out and the instability will be quite a bit lower. And those are 2 of the major ingredients for severe weather. You need wind shear instability. Also, you need uplift. And that's another thing that's about to happen is your uplift is beginning to pull away to the northeast. So again, the storms will weaken as they push southeastward with time. Should see a pretty fast return of some sunshine tomorrow, but no additional severe weather issues expected from that. So let's go back over to the radar and show you that. And I tell you what, we need to watch Coleman County. The National Weather Service may consider a tornado warning for Coleman County shortly. We'll see if they do that or not. But again, in about 1 minute, the tornado warning will be allowed to expire for Winston County. Let's go back up to that storm, show you what we got. And I do want to mention again all this activity over West Alabama for Pickens and Tuscaloosa and northern Hale County. There's no indication at all of this becoming severe. I do not expect that to become severe. There may be a little lightning, some heavy rain briefly, but again, I do not see any sign of this becoming severe. The one severe storm we have is this tornadic thunderstorm that is in northern Winston County, and this is about to move into Coleman County. You see Addison right there. Here's the Coleman County line. There's Jones Chapel. This will clearly be north of Crane Hill. You see the loop on this. This is moving generally off towards the east, basically running parallel to Highway 278, just on the north side of Highway 278. Don't know if the National Weather Service in Huntsville will issue a tornado warning for that. Again, it's different National Weather Service offices. They have different criteria. So we're going to stay here and watch that just for a few minutes just to see if they will issue or not. Because we cover Coleman County too. So in Jones Chapel and Coleman, we may see that extended. Again, that has not happened yet. It is now 7:45. Our clock here is a couple of minutes behind. We're going to see this tornado warning polygon disappear. Clearly, tornado warning has expired for this storm. All right, so let's stop this and we'll look at the velocity and just kind of watch this together. Make sure there is nothing here. And again, there's no screaming evidence of a tornado there, which is fantastic. Let me move this around. I'll select another velocity site, radar site. We are looking out of Huntsville now. And again, there's very broad indication of rotation coming up on Addison and Jones Chapel. Again, there's no serious sign of rotation with that at the moment. But again, this could change. This environment is conducive of still producing a brief tornado in this part of Alabama, mainly near north of Highway 278. Again, just Jones Chapel, Vinemont, and Coleman. Let's keep a close eye on that. Let's go to the Columbus radar. I think we still have a better perspective of that. Again, there's your thunderstorm, not classified as severe any longer. Again, this is in northeast Winston County. The tornado warning has expired, but again, we're watching Coleman County. Does the National Weather Service trigger or not for Coleman County? So let me go over here and watch this. We're basically on a nonstop conference with the National Weather Service offices, and we're just going to see if they're going to issue that tornado warning for Coleman County or not. Again, the tornado warning has formally expired for Winston County. The thunderstorm is now near Addison, coming up on Jones Chapel. Okay. No word from the National Weather Service in Huntsville just yet. I do want to mention this, though. The tornado watch has been expanded as expected. Let me show you that. And this includes basically all of North Alabama, and that is our extreme northern row of counties where this tornado watch continues. So we've got Lamar County, Marion County, Winston, Coleman, Blount, Etowah, and Cherokee. Everybody to the north of that, into the Tennessee Valley, also under a tornado watch. This watch goes till midnight tonight, and we'll likely see some counties trim back here to the west as the risk does come to an end. But again, in the yellow counties, that is a tornado watch until midnight tonight. Notice Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anderson, basically that I-20 corridor near and south of that. There is no tornado watch for you. The chance of getting a watch looks relatively low at this point based off the environment. It's not going to be as conducive later tonight. So again, our focus point is up here in North Alabama and our far northern row of counties for that possibility of a tornado. All right, see, Winston County's been removed there for the tornado warning. We do not have one for Coleman County yet. But again, we're going to watch them. Let's watch Coleman County. They could decide to trigger a tornado warning for them. Let me go back over to radar, show you a loop here, and let's just kind of do a little radar tour. Show you what we got going on. We'll start down to the south. In fact, at the moment, we have no tornado warnings in our coverage area. We do have active showers and thunderstorms ongoing. If you are south of Akron, really between Havana and Greensboro, pretty hefty little downpour there. There's no reported lightning with that. This is all south of Mountville, north of Greensboro. That's moving east towards the Brent Centerville area. Again, there's no indication of anything severe with that. Here in the Tuscaloosa area, we got some pretty heavy rain that's passed through Tuscaloosa and Northport. There's no sign of this becoming severe. I do not expect that, but pretty heavy rain up on 171. That's coming up on Samantha and North River. We've also got rain falling up and down Holt Lake, really from Lock 17 down to the south to Holt Lock and Dam, where the heaviest rain is. See that right there coming up on Looks like the east side of Tuscaloosa on Holt. That's the Black Warrior River that runs up here into northeast Tuscaloosa County. Pretty heavy rain with that. But again, no indication of severe weather, and none is expected from that. Rain falling in Millport and Kennedy. Nothing to worry about with that. Just some rain and some thunder in spots. So we got some rain coming up on Sullivan. Now keep in mind, Lamar County is still under that tornado watch, but we do not see any sign of this becoming tornadic at the moment. Let's go up to the northeast. Again, got some areas of rain, some heavy downpours between Brilliant and Haleyville. There's no sign of this being severe. We had a tornado warning for Winston County. That has been allowed to expire. This thunderstorm is coming up on Jones Chapel, basically riding that 278 corridor into the Coleman area. Again, we're going to watch that to see if the National Weather Service decides to issue a tornado warning for Coleman County. At the moment, we do not see any sign of that. But again, if you're in Jones Chapel or downtown Coleman, got some pretty heavy rain coming your way. But other than that, that is it in terms of what's happening across central Alabama. Let me check again here with the National Weather Service and see what they are going to do. And again, no... Okay, the National Weather Service in Huntsville are issuing tornado warnings up in the Madison County area. They've got a couple of dangerous thunderstorms up there with the potential for tornadoes. We do not have any. They have not mentioned issuing a tornado warning for Coleman County. So again, let's just hang out here just a little bit longer. I do want to mention that we are also on Facebook Live and streaming on WVUA 23. If you lose power, that's always a good way to get information. I do not see any reports, which is really encouraging to see. There are no reports of damage from that storm. That is awesome. I love to see that. Let's see here. Also want to mention that there is that tornado watch for northern Alabama till midnight. And just checking Facebook Live, and everybody's asking basically different parts of the state what's happening there. So again, if you are in any part of Alabama to the along and south of I-20, there's no tornado threat for the moment. I think if there is going to be anything tornadic, that risk is going to be pretty low, and that'll be later tonight. All right, let me check the National Weather Service. Okay, all right, so they are not going to issue a tornado warning for Coleman County. So that is good news. They're going to issue a significant weather advisory, but not a tornado warning for Coleman County. So we're going to go back to programming in just a second. I want to show everybody out there before we do. I know we got people watching on Facebook Live, television, and on our website. We got areas of showers and thunderstorms across portions of West Alabama. There are no sign of any additional severe weather issues at the moment. We got a tornado watch for far northern Alabama. And that includes basically Lamar, Marion, Winston, Coleman, Blount, Etowah, and Cherokee until midnight tonight. There's no indication this watch will be expanded southward at the moment. It could be if it is warranted, but based off of radar trends, I don't know if that's going to happen. It certainly looks like things are trimming downhill just a bit. So we will send it back over to programming. If we have a tornado warning, we'll be right back here on TV. Otherwise, you can join us tonight on the news at 10 o'clock.